Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this is my furry companion who just hiccuped because he was he was fed or burped. That is Apollo. Good to see everybody. Just a quick note on what the collective is all about. If you're brand new, the collective. Let's see. Did it start late? Let me just. Oh no, you did see it. Okay, good. I was just checking in on the side there. Anyway, Weekly Collective, 7-day forecast. Special topic. This week we're actually going to be looking at the eclipse because by popular demand and by voting, you guys said you wanted to look at the new moon and the eclipse, so we'll do that. And we're also going to tune into the elements as well. And I feel like today we need to focus a little bit on a release. I've been reading the comments, even in the live chat here. Many of you feel like you've been kind of discombobulated. I know, of course, here, even in the United States, the East Coast had an earthquake, which is unusual. It's normally here in California. Lots of stuff going on. So what we're going to try to do today, first and foremost, is ground energy, pick up on what's coming through, and take it a step at a time. To that end, let's start how we always do with channeled messages. Channeled messages really provide basically a high-level overview of what's going on, and then we'll go deeper and deeper as we go through each part of this reading. So today, I kind of wanted to highlight this trifecta of cards, beginning with the Devil. We'll do the Devil, the Tower, and the Star, but they're also connected to dream energies as well. So in dreams, I was watching basically a cleanup crew. There was a room that was just filthy, and filth is the best word because it was dirt, it was grime, it smelled, and I just watched as someone kind of scrubbed through all of that. And I also saw this exchange going on where there was a person trying to encourage someone to settle for less than they deserved. It could have been like settling in love. It could have been settling for something that they didn't want to do in a career. And what I loved is they were showing them, like, it was almost like pictures in a book, and this person pushed it back and said, no, I'm not going to do that. So one of the things that's coming through during this eclipse here is an encouragement from Spirit to stay true to what it is that you want to do, that you're dreaming about, that you came to this planet to do. Don't let pressure, peer pressure, family pressure, or even just your own sort of uncertainty kind of get you into a path where you compromise, not in a good way, just think this is settling. So that's one thing to cleanse and let go of, it is just the need to please, and focus on reclaiming power, cutting old cords, seeing people as they truly are. I know that I had this revelation moment even just yesterday where a friend wouldn't take a call. I've been going through something with health or whatever, and I needed to talk to someone, and this person is always kind of away and, like on a retreat or meditating. And they were like, could you call me after the eclipse? And I said, no, I can't actually. And this is not worth it anymore. You know that I have a phrase when it comes to planetary work, which is life doesn't wait for the planets. So if you have to have an important conversation, if you have to move, if you have to make an important change, it can't wait until after retrograde. It can't wait until after the eclipse. Like, there are certain things that should be done when they need to be done. Because if you put it off, you're just kind of, you're retreating backwards. So one thing that I want to encourage everyone to do is not to be afraid of any planetary movement. Understand the movement. Don't become beholden to it. So as we're looking at eclipse energy, it's kind of beautiful because first the sun is there. Then the new moon goes over top of the sun. And for a moment in that totality, it feels like there's just shadow. And then we see that beautiful corona of the sun, and then the sun comes back. So it's light, shadow, light, and then more light. And basically, you might have these sort of ebbs and flows of realization, seeing people for who they truly are, seeing a situation for what it truly is, and being able to just say, enough is enough on certain things. This eclipse could bring to a head certain decisions. It could deepen a relationship, or it could clarify a connection. It could also help you cut the cords or help you see something as less than what it needs to be. So that's the first step. That's the shadow energy in the eclipse, and that's the Devil. The Devil would love to keep you kind of pulled in, but you're going to cut the cords. And it's interesting, we're looking at these cards in progression. So you have something that's holding on, or someone that is putting too many constraints on something or trying to get you to do something you don't want to do, then we have, you know what? No, I'm going to let that go. It can feel a little bit unsettling during that moment. Imagine what ancient civilizations thought when they saw the eclipse. They would think the world is ending. It's just a moment of change, and that's really what the Tower is. It doesn't have to be something that's drawn out. It's saying, well, that was what it was. This is what it can be. And this is a chance to, we'll do the release at the end of the reading today, a little bit longer meditation. The last bullet is the important thing. If we're going to do a release today, if you want to let go of something, make sure that at the very least you can do it with complete neutrality, saying, and if you can do it with love and light, even better. But if you can just see that you're ready to move on and you're open to the opportunity, the neutral mind will help you out there. If you're trying to let someone go in your life, it can't be a bitter sort of release. It has to be, I deserve more. I'm doing this for myself. I can take or leave whatever energy you have, but I just feel very good about the release. Not like, well, I'll show you. It has to be more. No, this is the best for both of us. So whatever it is that you want to release, feelings, relationships, jobs, whatever, it has to be in that neutral space or you seeing the better part of that. The next step on this one is, of course, setting intentions, because we have a new moon too. So the star is the reward for going through the devil in the tower. And what a reward it is. It is the sun, by the way. I mean, it is a star, so it's not our sun, but it's the same sort of energy. So what we're looking at is very analogous to an eclipse here. So I was shown two people holding hands in my dreams, and the shadows went on the sidewalk and stretched out, almost making them look kind of like aliens. And but what I was really paying attention to was how sort of long the lines were in the shadows. If you do the work, and you can start setting the intention today for the release, and then on the new moon, you really can focus instead on planting the seeds. It's very similar to what we were talking about last week, because we had planting a seed as the last slide. I would love to take that to the next level, though. This eclipse gives you a chance to set your goals beyond the current day, week, or month. Like, look out 1, 3, 5 years. Also, really feel that you are returning to your power. And when that sun comes back, even if you're not in the totality of the eclipse, you just even if it's just a partial eclipse and you can see a little bit of that, or if you're just tapping into the energy of it, see something go and then see your light come back even brighter than before. And this is where the magic is in this event that we're going to go through. And the light does come back, just like it does every day. The sun rises, the sun sets. This is your chance, though, to really use your energy to bring some rising, brilliant, beautiful manifestation energy on the horizon. So we are going to see things as they are, even if they're difficult. We're going to clean up the cobwebs. We're going to release things that don't serve our highest good, and we're not going to panic, because just like the eclipse, it could just be momentary. It could be 3 to 5 minutes. It could be 3 to 5 days. But eventually, after that, we get the star energy, and that's where things get really exciting. Okay? Good. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the next week. By the way, I have some extra, I can gift memberships today, so make sure you're subscribed. You can subscribe now, and then after the 7-day forecast, perhaps I'll gift some memberships. Okay. Take a moment here while I turn on the camera. I'd like you to focus on breathing and just allow yourself in this moment to say, I'm ready to receive, and let go of any sort of preconceived notions or ideas. Let's really read this on a clean slate, or as close to a clean slate as possible. All right, I'm going to do light seers for this. How appropriate is it that we get death for today? And it's also reversed, just like it was in the daily read. That's kind of wonderful. And for those who wanted to know why it's reversed, we'll review it again. But it's because we're ending stagnation, and I could see there was a little bit of cleaning up to do. So I think everything is aligned here. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, it's looking good, folks. Let's get these all set up. Okay, so we're going to get started with today, Sunday, and the energy, like I said, is completely in alignment with the daily reading that I did. Death reversed. Well, in this particular deck, we have Death and Rebirth as the same card, one of my favorite sort of versions of Death. It's really a portal. How cool is it that we also have this beautiful bright light, which is connecting us to the eclipse that's going to be happening very shortly. So this is saying something's ready to exit, something better's ready to come in. Things that could help you get into the path of movement. It's really just sort of deciding to take action on something. So in the daily read, I was focusing on maybe putting something on the back burner, and you're going to say today, you know what, this is important. I'm going to do some research online. I'm going to talk to a friend. I'm going to figure out what I need to do. The initial stage can just be that sort of research and intention setting. And then as the week progresses, you can actually start to call, meet, get out and drive around, whatever you need to do to make this happen. This is also just something coming to a close. So for some of you, you've been working really hard, possibly on personal development. Maybe there's just something in your life that you finally finished, but there's a little bit of clinging, a little bit of holding on to. If the card were upright, I would just say, you guys are perfect. We see movement, we see expansion, we see development. This is saying there's just a little bit of something that you're holding on to, and the sooner you release it, the more fun things are going to start to be for you, and the better it's going to be for you as well, because you can go into the energy of possibility. So whatever has come to pass, it's already come to pass. Spirit's giving me an interesting message, and maybe it helps some of you. And I did put it on this slide, but we'll talk about it more when we get into the meditation later. But you don't need to have a person in the room to heal. So for those of you that have loved and lost, like someone's in spirit, you can still say, I love you, I'm sorry, or I'm angry, whatever it is that you need to say to process the emotions to them on the other side. They hear it. In some way, shapes, and forms, it's a little bit easier because you have a captive audience. They have to listen. So you can say everything you never got a chance to say and let it go. And I get a little misty when I say that. Some of you need to do that. There may be a person in your life that's cut you out, that's ghosted you, doesn't want to talk, like someone that I knew. These people too, you can just meditate and you can just facilitate a release and just say, I love you, I care about you, but this doesn't work, or this makes me feel angry, but I have other things to focus on, so I'm going to release it. So whether you need to work with someone in spirit or a parent or a sibling or a friend with whom you're estranged, you can still do the healing. It just takes one to get that process started. And you don't have to have a real-time conversation. So that can help you get unstuck, because sometimes we need closure. So you're going to have to facilitate the closure yourself, and it may just have to be a conversation. Say it, write it in a letter. I've done that more than once and just not sent the letter. It still feels very good to make that first draft. So if you need to get it out there, do it. Okay. All right, let's move on to the first day of the work week, Monday. So for the energy of Monday here, we have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is in reverse. This is a good card for healing. It does show that growth takes time. So one of the things that you want to do is don't rush yourself, don't rush others. If people are expecting something to happen overnight, it's not Jack and the Beanstalk, and we can see that there. It takes time. I have a prickly pear cactus on the other side. You can't see it, it's out of view, but in the fall, I accidentally hit one of the pads and it fell off, and it was new growth, and I was like, oh, that's too bad, because it had a lot of pads anyway. So I was like, well, I'll just let it callus over, and then I put it in a pot, and I didn't water it for like a month, and then I just sprayed it for a month, like once a week, and then I started to water it, and lo and behold, it's growing, and now it's starting to get a second pad on it. I'm like, so okay, just like the cactus, you can actually propagate from a cactus if you ever hit it like that. You just have to do what I said, which is let it heal over, let it callus, and then let it reacclimate. Some of us are doing that. We're like that cactus where we have to create new roots. We have to heal. So this is what this is about. Healing takes time. You don't want to rush it, or the cactus would rot. That's the first time I've successfully done that, because before I tried to overwater. This time I'm like, in the desert, it would just sit on the ground for like a month. Let it sit. Let it create the roots first. Without the roots, you can't absorb. So that's the most important thing, is to ground yourself on Monday. If you're not grounded and you're not clear on what you're trying to do, you're just spinning your wheels, okay? When it comes to negotiation or spending or anything of that nature, this is just saying don't overextend. Definitely, if you're negotiating, you might have a chance to get a little bit more, but you want to keep things within reason, okay? Tuesday is movement. Tuesday is release. This is what we've been building everything up for. So we have Six of Swords in the reverse state. You do see her halfway between. She's in a liminal space. So we see the three birds untethered, flying there. We see three birds tethered, trying to pull her forward. She's somewhere in between, past and future. And so this is a day where you may find yourself creating kind of in that place of the unknown, but it's kind of fun. It's a sandbox. So don't beat yourself up over any mistakes. You know, I don't really believe in mistakes that have happened in the past. Learn from things that weren't ideal, do better in the future, and decide what it is that you're really trying to accomplish. And then let it set sail. Again, we're not rushing anything. The Six of Swords could also represent a chance for you to go back and revise something and think to yourself, you know what? I need to revisit this. I need to talk a little bit more about something. So you could take a step back, get a little distance, look at this, finish something up, and then come back. So I see a little bit of back and forth. Some of you might actually be traveling on Tuesday as well. Take your time. Also give yourself a little time for delays, whether it's traffic or the plane delay or something like that. There could be a couple of unpredictable things going on Tuesday. I mean, we're in retrograde, so there you go. Now we have the sun midweek. Thank goodness. This is bringing us that bright energy that we're looking for. I love the corona on this one. If we look really close, this is a cool illustration. It almost looks like an egg, right? If you look at it there. And this sort of umbilical cord connecting her to that energy. So what does the sun in reverse represent? It can be a rebirth. It can be reclaiming power. It can be a day where you focus on things that create happiness for yourself. It's basically a chance for you to pull things back into your energetic sphere. There could be someone around you that needs more than you can give. And it could be a friend or a family member, it doesn't really matter, but this is also about having proper limits. So I think the most important thing on Wednesday is to prioritize what you need. You have my encouragement, the card's encouragement to be focused on self-care, self-development. But if there is someone around you that is like in that give me energy, you have to sort of know when to say when, right? And that's the main thing there. This can also represent for some of you that there's an overdue release. So this was the stagnation here. We're letting go of it today. Slow, steady growth. This is you sort of sending it off. If it hasn't happened by Wednesday, the universe is very clear, actually. Wednesday would be the day to let it go. Let it be free. Let something else come in. And then we see on Thursday, Knight of Wands. This is a very cool illustration because she's between the Four of Wands, even though it's Knight of Wands. So let's talk about it. I saw those two people holding hands in that long shadow in dreams. And whether it's a relationship, a new goal, a job, whatever it is that you're putting your energy into, it stretches far. When I was a little kid, I remember like realizing, what is it, like 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, 5? That's when the shadows start to stretch and they start to get really cool. If you think of, I've done the math before, like if we think of our life in the 24-hour clock, 3 o'clock, it's like, it's 40 years in or something like that or whatever. So it's, or 45, I have to look at it. If we look at life expectancy, it's a good long amount of time. So what I'm seeing here is the chance for something to possibly take you through the next big chapter of your life. So whatever you're deciding to really put your energy behind, it could be a quarter of your life or something really big of that sort of nature. We also see the Knight basically, well, she's also represented by the horse in the background, but marching to the beat of her own drum. We have a wild steed or a Mustang in the background. So this is a day for you to not be tethered. This is the antithesis of the Devil card. There are no reins on the horse. She doesn't care what people are thinking. She's holding space for something better. unconditional love, freedom, liberation. Be very open in your thinking and demonstrative. So you're like, Nicholas, how can I apply this to the energy on Thursday? Well, it's a great day to have a meeting. It's a great day to create a presentation. If you're job seeking or you want to put anything out into the universe, this is an ideal day to do so. There could be someone coming through with some good news as well. Let me take a drink and then we'll talk about Friday. As we take a look at Friday here, we have the Two of Wands. It is the Two of Wands in reverse. Some of you are revisiting a goal that you never got a chance to do. Maybe it's because you took time to raise a family, or because you were so busy going to school that you didn't have time to accomplish this. Or maybe you're retired and you're like, I can do whatever I want now, so I'm going to focus on this. There's a goal that's coming back into view. Now is the time. There's a nice sort of imminent energy this week. Now is the time is definitely what I'm picking up on with this. Get out the map, get out something to plan this out, and put it into writing. Let's create movement behind this. As you know, many of you have been watching me for many, many years since I started, but Two of Wands is connected to Magician and High Priestess. So that light bulb moment then kind of gets you into your manifestation mode. So start off with planning. If you do nothing else on Friday, you can review some of your old stuff, audit, say like, how far have I come? And think to yourself, what do I still want to do? And then think like, how can I get inspired? If you're lost and you're like, I don't know, Nicholas, I'm here because I need guidance, then Friday's a great day to expose yourself to different lines of thinking. This is a day to watch a movie, read a book, listen to a podcast, talk to a friend, go to a seminar, anything you can do to expand consciousness. That will help give you an idea and help shape your next sort of path. Most writers will say the most important thing that you can do to be a better writer is to read. You get inspired by other good writers and you think, oh, I never thought of that. That's a great technique. Or, wow, I love how they, paint a picture in this way with their words. So get inspired by other amazing people and see if that doesn't help you fine tune what it is that you want to do next. But for the rest of you that know what to do, really good day for planning. Great day also to have a meeting. Maybe some of you want to get into a mentorship sort of thing where someone can look at your stuff and say, hey, here's a revision, something like that. Meeting of the minds, that's definitely what I get with that. Okay? Let's get to next weekend. All right, as we go to Saturday, this is such a beautiful card. So we have the Empress. But look at all the different things this card comprises. We see so many different divine feminine forms, not just the Empress herself, but also the Mother Earth and also the Moon, all divine feminine energies. So basically, this is another day. You have 2 windows from which you can launch things successfully, I would say, or you need to release things, let's put it that way. Maybe 3 actually, because 6 of Swords is a ship setting sail. The Sun is the baby, the actual result of the rebirthing. Actually, the whole week is rebirth, isn't it? Birthing and rebirthing. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday in particular really have that energy. So this is a day to let it go. And the Empress, specifically when she's reversed, is making things more complicated than necessary. We just had that this week, so a lot of the daily card reads are culminating in this weekly here. So some of these things bear repetition. If you don't let something go or don't birth something on Saturday, it's like quickly after that. This woman is very pregnant. It's time. It's time for this to be shared with the world. So for any of you that are perfectionists, you can just rest easy that you've done enough. And by the end of this upcoming week, let it set sail. Whatever it is that you're waiting to kind of be perfect on. There's no such thing as perfection. That's why we keep coming back to this planet. We're continuing to learn. Once that happens, we're like an ascended master. So it's good enough. And it's more than good enough. It's not like the Sarah McLachlan song. This is amazing. So let it go and move on to the next thing. There could also be someone that's controlling in your life. The Empress in reverse is a difficult person to deal with. They don't know when to let people step in, or it's like I was using that real life example of someone that had to always control when we were talking. It had to be before 5 o'clock. It had to be on a new moon or after an eclipse. I'm like, no, I'm into metaphysics and astrology and planetary movements, and this is nonsense. So if someone's that controlling, it's just sort of like, forget it. I'll talk to someone else. But for yourself, this could be a mother who comes in and or father who is kind of like a helicopter saying, are you sure you've done that? How about this? What's going on with that? It can be a boss who doesn't know how to kind of give you the free rein to just finish the project. Whoever it is that controls things to a point of exhaustion, you can also let that go. Okay. But so it's a good day to release or create. It's also a good day to let go. And if you ever find yourself in that sort of energy, because we do from time to time, like, don't forget to put the food in the oven, and don't forget, just let it go. If they drop the ball, they can clean up the mess. That's how I'm going to leave it on that. All right, let's go to next Sunday. Next Sunday looks pretty darn good. We have the 9 of Cups coming through. Beautiful energy here, euphoric energy. This is a card of celebration. Sometimes it can be one of excess, but based on the week that you had, you deserve a little bit of fun. Everything in moderation. So have some fun. Do something really that creates some joy and excitement in your life, whether that's going to a movie, eating out, meeting up with a friend, having a party, or just really treating yourself to something nice. Feels like you deserve it, and it connects you to the solar energy, which is something that we do want to focus on this week, okay? 9 of Cups can be a card of extremes. So if you are feeling, super elevated or super low, just try to pull yourself a little closer to center and get some perspective. That would be my only sort of practical advice on that, but otherwise pretty manageable. Let's look at highlights and lowlights this week, and then we'll move on to the elemental forecast after that. All right, so for sure the sun is going to be a highlight, but I think everything looks good starting with Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, these are ideal cards, and of course next Sunday. Like I said, there's a couple of days where there are launch windows. Today's more of a release window, letting it go, but I do feel like this is like mother and child, so there is a chance to really facilitate some movement Wednesday and Saturday, and today really focus on letting go. The rest of the week is manageable, folks, okay? So let's get into the elemental breakdown here, and I remembered what I said, so I'm going to go ahead and gift a couple memberships right now as we're getting this started. It's a new month. It's a chance to say thanks. I have 10 a month that I can give out, so I like to split it out. So there you go. While I pick the deck, you guys can enjoy that. All right, so let's just leave this here so you can see it, and then I'm going to pick a new deck here. All right, enjoy those gifted memberships. Like I said, I can do that a couple times a month. Interesting, the strength card just flew off, so I'll leave that to the side. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at fire, earth, air, and water. Fire, earth. Actually, let me just close this tab so I can focus. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, here we go, folks. So we're going to begin with fire signs first. We have the 7 of Pentacles. Hello, it looks real familiar, doesn't it? This was nicely aligned with the energy of Monday. For fire signs, we actually see you taking charge of this. And where this little start was just starting to get its roots, this one is flourishing. We can see all of the fruits of that labor paying off. Unicorns in the sky, and butterflies. It reminds me of that Reading Rainbow song from public television. Anyway, beautiful energy here. So take your time, it's worth it. That's definitely what I get here. And we see that there is a return on the energy. If you see yourself in this card, you're squarely between 2 of the best Pentacles cards in this suit. The 6 of Pentacles is reclamation of balance. The 8 of Pentacles is learning. So you're learning to continue to have, like we said, good limits, discernment, and then you're going to maybe decide, I want to take on something new. So some of you might be researching, going back to school or just learning about something that you've always wanted to. The only thing that I would say here is, again, not to overextend. So that's going to be really important. Let me see if there's anything else. All of the butterflies on this card also represent, for some of you, let's say you've had a lot of setbacks. There's been just kind of a period where nothing's been happening. It does feel like there's a breakthrough that's happening this week. I'm thinking of the caterpillar that breaks through the chrysalis, and then we've got the butterfly. So there's a period of joy and celebration after a period of delay. So I like that quite a bit. Okay, so keep up with that slow, steady, and discerning pace. It will pay off. You are aligned. Monday is a power day for you because that corresponds with Monday. So there you go. Let's move on to Earth. So this is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We have one of the fastest moving cards in tarot. This is the Knight of Swords, Prince in this deck. Butterflies and moths all over this particular deck here today. So knights are proactive, active, communicative, especially because we're looking at swords. And so if there's something you want, don't wait for someone to ask. Like, do you want this? This is especially true for those of you that are forward thinking when it comes to your like a work goal, or if you're looking for houses or apartments. You don't want to drag your feet. Maybe you had a first great date with somebody. I should say a great first date. Let the person know you're interested. That's the main thing that I'm getting with this. Also, once you create the momentum, everything starts to follow. So I just see a lot of productivity this week, and I like it. And your ability to, also I should say this, when you communicate, there is this rapid fire sort of response. So word can travel fast rather, and your voice can carry, and you have the ability to make change through that communication. So use your voice. That would be the way that I could sum it up in 3 words, right? Use your voice, okay? Good week, fast paced. So get enough sleep and kind of just roll with the punches and roll with the energy. Have your coffee if you need it, and you've got this. It's a really good card for the week ahead. So let's move on to air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You have been through it. You've been through some stuff. The 9 of Wands is a card of surviving and eventually thriving, because then the 10 of Wands comes through it. But typically, we don't see it on this one. I kind of like what they did instead of the bandage. Instead of the bandage, they gave this person the crown. But typically, there's a bandage around the head, or some sort of indication of struggle. You are strong. You are capable. You will get through this. Whatever it is that's beating you up a little bit emotionally, energetically, physically, etc. Might be a health challenge. You're strong. And also, because you're air signs, you have the ability to see things from all perspectives. And you're going to come out better than you were when you started. So let's say there was something like a health difficulty. You're going to come through this and possibly surpass expectations. If it was a breakup or some sort of disappointment, the crown on this card just shows me that you've graduated the karmic lesson at the very least, and you may come out better than you were before because you're taking things more seriously, and it's going to be all right. I think that's what you need to hear on this card. Now, what do you need to focus on? Getting enough sleep. For many of you, because we were looking, I mean, it's interesting, the crown is very much affected on this card here. So there could be headaches or persistent thoughts. Some of you, when it comes to forgiveness and release, there's a lot of energy in the head. You need to talk to somebody, maybe, to let go of some stuff, to help facilitate the release. But basically, this is just a hardworking card. It's like a cat with 9 lives, and you're not at that 9th life yet. You still have some energy in the tank. So don't give up. Anything you set your mind to, you will see it to completion. Water signs: 9 of Cups. Nice synchronicity. This is aligning you to next Sunday. So that's your power day. 9 of Cups, again, celebrating the good things in life, taking time to really be present and to have some fun. Life isn't just about work. Not letting your heart get away from you, though, because, again, this can be overly high or overly low. So just trying to find the middle ground, because she's kind of in the middle ground in this card. That's the important thing here. I love what I see. So I will just say this though, water, you're going to be more sensitive than usual, especially with the eclipse. You're going to be more open, more creative, and use that to your advantage. The creativity and the sensitivity can be something that can be a source of productivity too, and just sort of like you have a lot to offer to others this week. You just have to take care of yourself, all right? And there was a bonus card that's not related to the elements. We could just sort of see this as the overarching one because it came out when I was shuffling. So this is the strength card. And very interesting behind her. We're looking, it's not quite an eclipse. We're looking at a nighttime thing. But for many of you, this is a period during which you are going to focus a little bit more on taking care of your physical health. Maybe there was something that you've just not been paying attention to. This card especially is illustrated here because we're not seeing the struggle between her and the lion. It's just about health, well-being, and empowerment. Okay? Very cool. All right. So, my friends, we're going to move now into the special topic for today, which is the eclipse and the new moon. We're going to be looking at shadow and light, basically. It's a nice blend. For all of you that wish we had a healing reading, we've got it today. While I'm getting ready here, remember to like and subscribe. It's 100% free and it helps. And if you want to give back, you can do it through super stickers, super chat, and super thanks, or gifting a membership. I saw someone asking, like, how will you know if you're gifted? You'll get a message. it'll come through notifications, and the color of your name will turn green in chat. So that's how you know. See which one. Okay. I'm going to actually use a black and white deck. I know that this sometimes charges people. They're like, I don't like black and white. Well, that's okay. This is good because the illustrations on it are really unusual, and we're going through an eclipse where there's going to be a little bit of shadow energy. So this is a good deck for that. Close your eyes, please. Focus on opening yourself up to whatever messages the guides and angels want to bring through. With love and light, we're going to begin the reading now. All right, so let's focus. I see a bunch of people like looking. Don't worry about the memberships. You'll know. You'll get a notification. Let's focus on the reading now and move forward here. Aren't these beautiful pictures? One of the things that I love with this is there's a reminder here. Sometimes with black and white, you can see so much. I love color. We'll be using that also in the rest of this, but these are really profound images and help us see things that we need to see. All right. Yeah, I like to change it up and try to use decks that I haven't used in a while, and I try to energetically choose the one that I'm drawn to that day. For those that wonder, like, how do you know which one to choose? It's the one that calls to me. But this one is really good for seeing alternate meanings to things. Like, we're going to talk about this Ten of Swords, which is a really cool one. Okay, so many strength messages today. Because then we just got another one here. Oh no, this was suffering and silence. I thought it said strength. But we see the energy of strength. I thought I saw it somewhere else. Oh, it's right there. I was like, I saw the strength card somewhere. All right, so let's take a look. We just move the cards over so you can see them. We're going to begin here with, actually before I get to the Ten of Swords, let's start off with the Catalyst energy first. Catalyst, of course, is going to help you create necessary action. So we have the Tiger, which is, they're kind of related here too. So tigers and lions, big cats. What we see with the tiger is the ability to create momentum. And for some of you, you may be frustrated. Like, why isn't this happening faster? So one thing that I would say here is it isn't the speed that matters, it's the timing. And part of the reason that the big cats are such good hunters, whether it's a panther or a tiger or a lion or any of those sort of, big cats, they wait. And then they can really move quickly. They can pounce on something. So it's the timing that matters more than how long it takes, because you can make up for it in a split second. So this tiger is patient and very, very clear on how, when, and if it wants to take action. So don't just move, and don't just move quickly. Move with intention and let that basically dictate the speed and the time, if that makes sense. And then I just look at the stripes on this particular tiger, and it's basically saying, be proud of who you are, and, hold yourself with that sort of sense of dignity and gravitas. All right, let's go to the really cool Ten of Swords at the center. There are 2 Ten of Swords in this deck. I think there are 2 Three of Swords. This deck has over 80 cards, so I forget how many ones have duplicates, but I know that there's at least the 10 and the 3 are alternate versions in this, and I left them both. All right, so the Ten of Swords, this is the Wisdom Ten of Swords. So we have one that shows a little bit more pain, and then we have this one that shows that the pain is over. I have another deck called Everyday Witch, and there's 2 Ten of Swords in that one too, and it says everything is fine. It's pretty much okay with this card as well. The reversal of this is you saying to yourself, I wish I would have known. Well, yes, who doesn't, right? I wish I would have known a bazillion things that could have helped me in the past. There's certain things that we have to go through because there are many teachers, physical teachers, knowledge, pain is another teacher, and sometimes we choose to go through the pain so that we integrate the lesson. As long as you learn, you're okay. So just learn from the painful lesson and just decide never again. That's something I've said before, never again. I will not forget that. And I'm not going to repeat this. So when I close a chapter or a door, it's kind of like I've never gone back to an old place that I've lived and walked back through the door. Don't need to see it. It's not going to look the same anyway, and I'm over that chapter. So some of the places I don't want to see because I lived in a place with a lot of construction and stuff like that. But when I close the chapter, I've closed the chapter. So get what you need out of an experience, close the door, and move on. But just pulling it a little closer, it's such a beautiful illustration. You're going to be able to be free of that experience in the future. You are the owl with the wisdom and the ability to move beyond this. And you're going to come out just fine. I said this before when I was looking at, the different cards a couple moments ago when I was pulling the 7-day forecast. I said you have the ability to come out of this better than you were when you started, and that's what this is showing too. And we got a bunch of cats. So you have the ability here to really move with speed, with grace, with dignity. This is the king here as well in this deck, which is interesting. So we have I love the strength card because it is divine, feminine, and masculine. And in this one, there is no competition and there is no manipulation or because in the traditional one, she has to pull open the mouth of the lion. That's not happening here. There's respect. Respect for what you've been through, respect for whoever you're calling into your path next, and whatever you're calling in, people will see you as a force to be reckoned with, and you won't have to repeat some of the codependencies or some of the difficult energies in relationships. I had someone in a daily card read when I was talking about codependencies. It was on Instagram, but they were like, codependencies can be a good thing. I'm like, no, codependencies are not ideal. You're thinking of symbiosis or symbiotic relationships where they're beneficial. Codependencies are not, but I'm not seeing that anyway. Here I just see cooperation and respect, and it feels like that is part of the next chapter for you. And yeah, maybe symbiotic, but yeah, no more codependencies. It's not the same. Let's not conflate the two terms, not with an English major. All right, let me take another drink, and then we're going to talk about the deep past. Okay. Six of Cups, deep past. Some of you are deciding possibly to go back and reconnect with someone that you haven't talked to in a while. I saw those long shadows, hands that were being held, and I'm looking at these silhouettes. They kind of remind me a little bit of what I saw. So you may have been thinking about someone a lot lately, and maybe it's good stuff. You just never said thank you. I sent a really nice note to a former coworker, or boss rather, where I just said, thank you for always having my back. I know, like, I don't know if I ever told you that, but you were a good boss. You always had my back, and I have good memories. That was it. That was my text. You can send good texts like that to people sometimes. I didn't hear back, but I know that they got the message. So sometimes it's nice just to send a little bit of love out into the universe with no strings attached and no expectation of a reply. You can say, I love you. You can say, I'm sorry. You can say goodbye. All of those things could be something to someone in the past, again, living or dead. So just because someone's passed does not mean that you can't facilitate the healing. This is also higher love. So if you've been manifesting a partnership, don't give up. This is a little bit of like, why haven't they shown up, or why isn't this happening? This is really just focusing on holding space. We can see it in the mental real estate here on the Six of Cups, which is, by the way, one of the most beautiful Six of Cups I've seen. So you can really continue to hold space for what it is that you're looking for. And that is nicely aligned to what I saw, because it was almost like a catalog, and that's not how you find a relationship. I mean, it's kind of like what we do with apps. So sometimes Spirit uses a very old metaphor. I was like, close the book. I know what I'm looking for. Just because I haven't found it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So same sort of thing here. Close the book. Don't let someone try to convince you into investing in a property, or buying a computer, or doing anything that you don't want to do. You know what you want. Don't get this isn't even an upsell. This was sort of like that, settling sort of energy. Don't settle for less. Okay. Five of Cups. The Five of Cups, right? Take a deep breath. You can feel what's going on in here. So here's the good news with the Five of Cups. It's going to be all right. We have two cups right around this person. I love the support. I love the optimism in those two cups, but you have to process this. This is a card of grieving, and it can happen after pain or loss, and we do have a little bit of that at the center. Something didn't go as planned. Some of you went through a difficult emotional experience, maybe a difficult health or physical experience. Some of you are sitting here thinking, could've, should've, would've. Don't do it. It's not your fault, and it's not productive. It's okay to say, this sucks, this isn't what I want. Completely human, completely normal. Now think, how am I going to move through this? Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do? How can I elevate and process this and use it to my benefit? How can I be like the owl in the Ten of Swords and get wiser from this? But I never want to cheat anyone the opportunity. You need to mourn. That's what this card is saying. Whatever you need to do to mourn, do it. One thing that I won't do is try to just put a pretty bow on things. But I will say the sooner you can get through that, the better things look here. We have a celebratory Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands came through in the form of the Knight of Wands before. So we saw her in the center. So we have love here. The two cups in the background. We have support here, the Four of Wands. In marriage or in friendship, like, this is one of the best types of relationships you can pull in. So if something didn't work out, if someone disappointed you, if someone hurt you, something better is waiting, and something so much better, to the point that you'll be like, why was I ever thinking of settling for that? So hold space. It's just her in the Four of Wands, but we know there's going to be someone else eventually. That's the promise of the Four of Wands. It's sometimes you'll see in the traditional card, like, two people in the background getting ready to step into that and commit. In this one, we just see someone saying, I'm holding space and I'm celebrating that future union or opportunity. All right. Just really beautiful. Putting it into the energy of the new moon and putting it into the energy of the eclipse. What you can set an intention of this week is basically, I'm ready for the firmest foundations to take place in friendships, in business, and in life. I want to see that long shadow stretching out. Try to say that several times fast. But I want to see that long lifeline to whatever it is that I'm calling in. And in doing so, you're going to really pull it into your auric field. I think a great thing to do tonight and tomorrow would be you can light a little candle, like get a white candle, say a prayer. It's a universal way to kind of like amplify the energy of an intention and just say, I'm ready to receive this. I'm ready to bring in this love and light, because I say it because there's candles on this cake. So you know what? You could even have a little cupcake if you want to. I don't care. And really just sort of celebrate getting through life to this point. But then take that candle and let it burn to completion. Don't blow it out. I think it'd be better to get a little votive and just make a wish. It's easy. And it's part of our own traditions. We light candles in churches, temples, and religious settings. We light them on birthdays. You can light it with your wish. And you can do it on your own, and it does amplify it. Just be positive in your wish, okay? Then we have the 10 of Cups here. Call and answer. This 10 of Cups is reversed. So for many of you, again, it's a matter of patience. That's a common theme this week. Give things time to show up. At the end of the reading, I'll pull up the cactus that I was talking about so you can see it. But give things time to show up. It's not going to happen overnight. Sorry about that. Not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. And that's basically what you want to give yourself. You're allowing the universe to set up the best possible synchronicity and experience for you. 10 of Cups in reverse holds a different meaning when we're looking at like extended family or friends. Sometimes they're trying to drag you along into something that doesn't feel right for you. So it can be peer or family pressure. It can also just be what's happening after this. You've done something really, really well, and everybody wants a piece of your time and energy. So it's just about having, good limits on how much you're willing and ready to give. Okay. 4 of Pentacles. This is you, and it's an unusual card to show up for you. This is like the biggest coin that I've seen in the 4 of Pentacles. Dude, that's a big pentacle. Okay, so with the 4 of Pentacles, what you can see nicely with this illustration is it's more about hiding or holding on to things. This is the devil you know. It's not good enough. And so there's something in your life right now that you are, again, we'll quote Sarah McLachlan since I mentioned it earlier. There's so much more than good enough. That's what she says in that lyric. So for whatever it is that is less than expected or less than you deserve, it's okay to let it go. You deserve much, much more. Okay? This week, also, let's say you feel good about yourself, but you get a low ball offer for something that you're trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace, or you are trying to sell your house and someone comes in with an absurdly low offer, or you need something from someone in a relationship and they so underdeliver that it's ridiculous. This is you realizing that this isn't enough. This isn't it. So in this eclipse week where the truth comes through, see what's lacking and either fix it or release it. And don't sell yourself short. So if you're negotiating for a salary in a new or existing job and someone tries to come through with a paltry offer, you just really want to push for what you're worth. Use data, because this is basically a data-driven card. So if you can point to best practices, average, salaries, things like that, that's going to help too. Finally, and most importantly, with this particular card, I don't know why I'm clapping, is if there is someone in your life that won't let you go, or if you have a hard time letting them go, that's something to really focus on, because it isn't serving anybody anymore. So try to find a way to just let go of things. I think that's the key thing. It's release. That's the biggest challenge during this eclipse, probably, is the release. Okay? What's going on around you? Well, we have an Ace of Cups. This could be what you're waiting for. I mean, we get the call and answer. The challenge with this one, and I think it is more tempered by the previous card than just this as a freestanding one, is belief or disbelief. Like, is this really happening? Do I deserve this? Yes, you do. Yes, it is. Yes, it can happen. But you have to be receptive. So if you're not receptive, you could miss something, and that's what the 5 of Cups is about too. So those 2 upright cups can represent love and support. but he or she, because you can't really tell in this card, the person's just looking down at what hasn't gone well. And I get it. I really do. There are some things that just, it's frustrating, right? Sometimes you just want to go and scream in a pillow when something doesn't work out. And maybe that'll help. But once you get that scream out, once you get the energy out, once you ground it, then you can think, how am I going to move to the next state, the next step? Because there is some good stuff around you, and I don't want you to miss it. I feel like for some of you, there could be, it's either unrequited or secret. Someone has a crush on you, or you have a crush on them. There's something about it where it's like not out in the light of day. Eclipses are revelation energy. That's why we're seeing it. So this is a chance to kind of like, if you feel it, say it. If you don't, also say it, so that person can move in a new direction. And if you haven't been allowing yourself to have fun or to love or to do something, this card is saying, why not? Open yourself up to receive some fun, some joy, some love. Okay? Hopes, fears, and opportunity. Oh my goodness. We have the Empress again. Here she is, upside down, just like she was in the, was it the 7-day forecast? So same message here. I think it was like Saturday, if I remember. So the Empress is a card of fertility, abundance, and creation. In the best way, this is hopes, fears, and opportunities. Don't limit your capacity to create. Don't hold yourself back from doing something for fear of failure. Whatever you went through in the past is the past, and you're probably not going to repeat that again if you've integrated the lesson properly. So it's just allowing yourself to go with the flow. One thing that this card does very nicely is you can see the flow, the energetic flow of energy, right? So allow yourself to be in that flow. And again, if there is a controlling influence in your life, whether it's a corporate structure, a friend, a family member, a neighbor, whoever that Empress reversed is, one of the best things you can do is just not feed the fire. So you don't have to answer the call, you don't have to respond to the email or the social media post or whatever it is that's trying to initiate that sort of reaction. Starve the fire in this case and feed your own passion instead, okay? And then in the outcome, such a cool card, we have the World. And this is the rebirth energy. So nicely aligned with today. The outcome is actually getting us into that today. If you can see it, you can do it. So we have like a snake, the Ouroboros, but it's also like a keyhole is what I wanted to say. So we have a snake and then the keyhole, and then we have like this rebirthing energy. And believing is seeing. I talked about that in a recent reading. I can't remember if it was the Taurus one that I just did. But if you can see it, you can do it. And you have to sort of see it through to completion. You owe it to yourself. Now, if we just take it as the traditional World card, this is a chance to make a complete change. Like really try something new. It can be starting a job, quitting a job, beginning a relationship, ending a relationship, moving into a house, moving out. Big stuff. Ends and beginnings, but in the highest form. There's nothing negative with when the World is upright. It's saying, just put that skeleton key in that door and move forward. Okay? And it's also an expansion card. So one of the best cards when it comes to business or personal development, because I was talking about stretching out that shadow so that it lasts as long as it can. So when it comes to any sort of endeavor or relationship or whatever, I just see a long lifeline on this. So things can go bigger, better, brighter than expected. I think I said that in today's card read as well. So I'm seeing it here for you too. All right, now let's expand this and take a deeper dive into the energies and the areas of health, wealth, love, and destiny. Starting off with health first and foremost, mind, body, spirit. Your oracle card here is compassion. Gosh, this is such a hard card I shouldn't say it's a hard card, but it's a difficult attribute for some people to connect with. Some of us are natural empaths, but compassion, it isn't just compassion for others. I really think this is compassion for yourself. That's why I was like, this is hard. Why is it compassion for yourself? Because I get this sort of, it's like you're beating yourself up over something. Something didn't go right and you're you're thinking it's your fault. This card is saying, release the blame. It's not, wasn't that in the Beyonce song? But release the blame was one of the things she said, or Lady Frida said. So yeah, release the blame and have more compassion for you. That is so important and so pivotal, because that is where the healing begins. You are human. You make decisions. Some of them are good, some of them are not as good, but if you learn and you did it in the best of your capacity, even if you didn't, you're just going to give yourself credit for surviving, and you're going to do better in the future, and you're going to love yourself exactly as you are right now. Some of you are healing, and there are things about your body that don't feel right. Maybe you have a scar. Maybe it doesn't look the same. Maybe it's not your version of perfect. I'll let you in on a secret. Most people don't see with the same level of criticism that you do. Don't highlight those things because they don't care. They're not noticing them. If you don't care, they're not going to care. So love your body the way it is. Love it and foster the best possible healing for the future. And love yourself like the little baby here. We would, if the baby was crying, we would hug it and say, I love you, right? Give yourself a little hug and just say, that you love yourself and that you're doing the best that you can. And whatever shape or form you're in this point, whatever point you are on the healing process, it's exactly where it needs to be today. Okay? Kind of deep, kind of profound, but it is what it is. All right. Heart chakra energy coming through on that one as well. So really focus on emotions. I do believe it is healing. Okay? Inner child healing for sure. Like, emotional stuff is coming through the most right now. We'll talk about Ten of Swords in a second, but this can be emotions. It can be pain in the body, but it can also be hurt. This is the beating yourself up. This is the inner child coming out saying, I don't want to be sad. You don't have to be sad. We're going to change that energy this week, okay? But it might require, gosh, you guys keep making me want to cry in these readings. It might require therapy for some of you, or talking to a friend or something. And I see the outstretched hands here with the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Cups. All right, come on. Deep breath, let it go. Really focus on healing for this week ahead, okay? I'm getting the emotions. I have to ground myself so I can finish this reading. Okay, what else is going on here? Some of you are focusing on physical recovery. This can be after surgery, Ten of Swords and Strength. Take it easy. Take your time. It doesn't have to happen overnight. This can also be chronic pain or fatigue. For each of you, this can be different. It does, this is the better of the two Ten of Swords. So this isn't going to necessarily be around as much as usual for those of you that have like a chronic issue. It feels like it's more acute and then it goes away. It feels like exercise can help. Granted, I'm not a doctor, but that's what I'm picking up on with the cards. Work with your professional on that one. Sibling healing, because Six of Cups is that, and the child, some of you might even be like fraternal or identical sort of twins, but there is this sort of sibling energy that can be healed this week as well. To that end, also parental energy, familial, I should just say, but I get brothers and sisters and I get parents and children. So it's not necessarily spouse healing. It's more like that kind of the inner child sort of energy that you would have there. Stress. Some of you are holding on to stress, like we see with this guy in the Four of Pentacles. It can be your jaw, your shoulders. It can be a headache. It's going to take different forms in different people. Tightness in the hips if you're sitting too much. Just depends where you're kind of holding on to it. Typically, this is in this space. We don't want the heart chakra to be closed. We want it to be open. So any exercises or yoga or meditation that you can do that will open, like you're pushing your chest out, kind of getting a better posture and breathing and opening up the lungs, the heart, this area needs to sort of open up. And it's more for energy than anything, but that's what I'm picking up on. Whew, okay. And compassion for yourself and others. That was a heavy health reading. Let's move on to wealth. Fire Guardian, ignite your passions. When you decide to let go of stuff that doesn't serve you, you have more to give. When you're not saying yes to every friend, family member, and coworker, you have more to give. So this could almost be like an Ace of Wands, because that's fire, or Ace of Wands in reverse, which is vitality. And so when the vitality is low, it's typically because there's depletion elsewhere. We want to ignite your wealth area because we're reading wealth. So you need to focus on some of that in health. That's why these two follow one another. And I would say once you do the healing, everything else is going to start to improve here. He's not juggling too many things. He's let go of something. I feel like this is the moment right after the Two of Pentacles. He's just holding the Two of Wands. Well, Two of Pentacles. But this is like an Ace of Wands. I don't want to put too many things out there. He's made a choice. Let's just say it that way. He's made a choice, and that makes it easier for things to move in the right direction. All right. I need to take a drink as well. And then we're going to focus on what's coming through with resources and finances. And yeah, it's an archangel for sure. There is no name of which archangel this is, but one of the more fiery and direct angels that I've dealt with that this reminds me of, just energetically, would be Uriel, because Uriel speaks with passion and directness. Maybe second only to Michael's pretty direct, but Uriel comes through and is very loving, very passionate and compassionate, but also will just say what needs to be said. Like, you need to change this, or you need to do this. So that could be that's the connection I'm getting just intuitively. I don't know what the illustrator had in mind, but okay. Let's focus on wealth. Burnout. Some of you are overdoing it. 10 of Swords is when the candle has been depleted. You've burned it at both ends. There's no wick. You're tired. Take a break before this happens, okay? Get enough sleep. You don't have to carry the weight of the world. You don't have to do more than you should. Some of you are over-delivering and getting under-recognized or underpaid for that delivery. Do exactly what you paid for. Tell people if they want more, they're going to have to meet you halfway. I know that you can't always be that frank with certain bosses. There are nice ways to say it. You could say, I want to do this, but I have this, this, and this. You're going to have to help me prioritize. Or if you want me to work Sunday, I'm going to have to be paid. You know, you can show that you're interested, but there's limited time. You can also say, I think some of you are you don't have enough support. If you are owning your own, we're going to break it down here in a moment, but if you own your own business, you need to hire. If you're working, they're making you do the work of many people. So since I'm already getting in the weeds, let's break it down. I'm going to try to not go as far into this as we did with health, because that was a lot. So high level notes. We're going to look at those that are working, seeking work, or either student or retired. For those that are working, what I just said is true. There needs to be more support, either in the form of resources. I think it's both. I think it's like human resources, like people, but also finances. You're not getting paid enough, you're doing too much, and you might need another helper. Or they need to be smarter about how they're managing their time. Because I see a lot of playful energy here. One thing that I remember when I did have a corporate job is how much wasted time there was. Starbucks breaks, getting something like water cooler talk, meetings about meetings about meetings, and then the end of the day hit and you still had this list of things to do. So reject some of those meetings, do some things where you can organize your time and say, I'd like to go, but I have to finish this deadline. So you can manage your time better, and you can say no. Just say, I don't think I'm necessary at the meetings, they take me out of my focus. I'll come for 5 minutes, but then I got to finish this. And if not, then I'm going to deliver the deadline later. What do you want me to do? Come to the meeting or deliver this today? That will quickly free you from a meeting if necessary. I did use that when I was in a corporate job. Do you need this today? If so, I can't make it to the meeting because I have to work. Sometimes meetings are just therapy for people. Have you ever noticed that? They just have a meeting to feel better about where they're at, but it's not really helping you with status. Okay. I do think that you're doing a great job with team engagement, teamwork, team building. Four of Wands only comes through and the Ten of Cups, when you're in an energy where you're putting the best foot forward. So I like that. Keep up with the people skills, but there's something about the environment and the resources. It needs to change. You have some of the strongest cards here to make the change happen. People like you. That's good. Six of Cups, Four of Wands, and Ten of Cups. Optimal. Great. You're poised for success. But someone's cheap or stingy on things here. It either has to change or you have to find something different. You don't have to do it overnight. But I would put your best foot forward and show what you're kind of providing, and then state interest, see if they come through. You don't have to give them an ultimatum, but decide how long you want to wait. I think 2 to 3 months. If they don't kind of like make something happen within that amount of time, put your eyes elsewhere, okay? If you're happy, the main thing that I would say right now, let's say everything's good at work, just some burnout, avoid getting sick. This can be a seasonal allergy or something like that, but I see you being run down or someone around you being run down. Slowing the pace down, working smarter, not harder is going to be really important. The main thing for everybody that's working is just a reality check when it comes to, is this what you want? Are you passionate about it? Because I did see settling or compromise happening in channeled messages and dreams. So make sure you're not settling for something that doesn't bring joy, or that you're doing something outside of work that fulfills you creatively and energetically, if that's the case. You have support of others. And with Four of Wands, Ten of Cups, Six of Cups, Ace of Cups energy, you can make things happen. So lean on your network around you to help kind of lift you up if you want to stay and excel. But I do see a good outcome card with that. So this is the networking, this is the result. So you can definitely get what you want, but you have to speak up. All right, if you're seeking work, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't take things too personally here, because the Ten of Swords is like rejection, setting into the DNA of who you are, and it's not worth it. It just depends on the time that you're applying and how many resumes are out there. Sometimes that's all it is. It's just timing. And so we want to be like the tiger and choose the right place, the right time. It's not about sending more resumes. It's about really picking the ones where you feel the most passionate. For me, even when I'm looking at apartments, because I'm still looking for one, I don't like just look at endless apartments. I will sift through whatever I can find online or whatever I see out as I'm driving or whatever. And I'm like, I try to, if I'm going to look at them, I'll do once a week, maybe 4 or 5. And that's all I can kind of manage because of the schedule here. And so you have to kind of just focus on the quality. Each one of those is something that I feel good about, because I don't have time to waste on something that's just so-so. So don't waste your time on something you're not serious about. That's also just taking your energy and your vitality. Okay? A move may be necessary to get what you want. So if you can afford it, if you're open to it, if you want to apply in a different state, city, country, or province, then do it, because it feels like that could accelerate the process quite a bit. Definitely lean into your existing friend and family network. It's both here. Like, this is friends, family, this is best friends. There could be something coming from that group, that at least one option. So as long as it feels good for you, that's good. You're going to have to negotiate probably when it comes time to sign. So push a bit. I want to get you to at least the Six of Pentacles, where you have more than enough. So it feels to me like 20%. There's room. And so the fine art of negotiation means you'll have to ask for a little more than 20%. So make sure that you're probably padding by 30-35% of what it is that you want. And then they're going to come down a bit. You're going to try to get it to about 15 to 20%. And that'll be better. Okay. Sorry, not that one. All right. So let's see what else is coming through. The other thing here is, don't think so small when it comes to an idea. This is something for some of you. You could actually do this on your own. Maybe you're not meant to kind of work in a regular corporate environment. This is very entrepreneurial. So maybe you're ready for that next chapter. Okay. And all you have to do is make sure you have the finances. You probably would need a loan or some investors to make this project go where it needs to. But I like the idea. So secure the financing. or work a little bit longer and get that financing where it needs to be, and then definite launch here for that. I like it. Okay. One last thing before we move on to retirees and students. There's a lot of people cards and love and connection cards. 6 of Cups is children. 10 of Cups is families. 4 of Wands is making really important connections. Some of you may just be seeking a job that allows you to just really feel like you can walk away and think, I made a difference. And that's important. And if you're not feeling that, or if you're not getting that where you're at, then the next job needs to make an impact, maybe the world in large, on the world at large. Lots of words there. All right, lots of prepositions. Let's focus now on retirees and then students. So if you are retired, everything I just said also applies. It feels like expanding your friend network or love. Some of you may even be retired and single. We'll be looking at love in a second. If that's the case, it's a fortuitous time. But even if you're, still partnered up and retired, I see new friends, new colleagues, new projects coming in. And so retired doesn't mean not doing anything. I just see like this flurry of activity with people. Maybe there's a lot of volunteer work going on. Maybe you're doing some advisory, or what's the other word? Freelancing or consulting work. But if you are, I know it's not for money, but your time is still valuable. Make sure that you're not exhausting yourself. That's the only thing here. You could be overextending yourself. So there's too many people, perhaps. Be a little bit more discerning of your time. Okay, better time management. Students, take a break. Some of you, maybe there was just a class that you didn't do well with, or a test that you didn't do great on. You didn't like how you performed. The good news is you can turn this around. You'll be all right. Whether it's you're going to repeat it, or you're just going to do some extra credit, or in the long, big scheme of things, no one's going to care. I've talked about this before. Nobody cares if I had perfect attendance in high school. Nobody cares what grade I got on college algebra or any of my various classes. Nobody asks. Unless you're going to work for a governmental organization where they look at everything or something like that. But most of the time, they'll look at the GPA. They just validate that you graduated from a university, and they're more interested in the project work that you've done. So the older that you get, the more they want to see, okay, are your credentials valid? Great. What have you done with those credentials? So as you get 3, 5, 10, 15 years into your career, it's more like, show me the work, show me the like how it all comes together. So one little setback is just that, one little setback. It's nothing much. There's something better on the horizon. The future's big, the future's bright. Don't freak out on a bad test, a bad grade, etc. Okay? One other sort of thing here is if you don't like what you're doing, change it. I feel like I say that a lot with students. If it's just stress and stress management, you're going to be okay. But if it's like, I don't like this, better to change now while you can. Now, I a couple of times I went through specializations and degrees where I was like, well, I'm not going to use the specialization, but I like the core of it, so I'll just finish it. That was my undergraduate where I learned journalism, but I was studying like PR. I was like, I don't want to do PR, but I'll learn a lot about English and writing and communication and journalism. And then I put on top of that like film and editing and production, which I use every day here. So you can cut your losses on certain areas, but if you really don't like what you're doing, change. And take as much as you can and move to the next thing, whatever that might be. Okay? That's it. All right, love. Let's move on to love. For love, the book. Karmic and cosmic and Akashic records kind of coming in here. The book in reverse. You get to rewrite things. You don't have to sort of like do the same old, same old. Literally, like, by the book means someone who's very traditional. This is almost like a Hierophant reversed. It feels like you don't want to do it by the book. That's okay. But if you have rigidity on the other side, it is out of your control. If someone is dead set on something being a certain way and only that way, you see it a lot with families, right? Like, you're no daughter or son of mine if you do this. Actually, I am, and that's really restrictive, and you can take it or leave it. I had a kind of moment where before my dad passed away, when he was kind of sick, I just had certain things that I needed to say. And I said, you just have to, I'm not asking for your acceptance or your rejection. I just need you to hear me and see me in my truth. And if you reject that, I reject your rejection. And he just laughed. He's like, it's cool. Sometimes we just have to state what we need to state. And if that person can't meet you there, this is a common theme this week. I just kind of remember that, like, so if it's a parent or a partner or a loved one or a friend, and they refuse to connect or they reject you or they can't see you, you don't have to change. And guess what? I had enough knowledge then that I knew he just needed to know that I was going to be okay and certain things were a certain way, so that we said what we needed to say before he passed. But you can't always have the closure. He was a loving person and he listened. Sometimes people don't want to talk. Sometimes they don't want to listen. So it's a closed book then. If they close the book on you, that's on them. And they'll deal with it in life review. All you have to do then is work on the release on your part. You can still heal and release, even if someone won't listen. It can still be facilitated, not as easily, but it can still be facilitated. Okay? Moving through love here. If you're in a relationship, and we'll go through all the different statuses first, but those in a relationship might be on the heels of an argument. The Ten of Swords can just be words that have been spilled and you wish you hadn't said it. Regret, that's the word. There's regret in this card. So regretting what was said. But sometimes people push you, right? This is someone who, like this, very restrictive. Got to do it this way. And you're like, no, I don't. And there was frustration and a boiling point. There are two different paths that you can take if you've had the argument. You can let it go. You can work on love and forgiveness, and you can move on. Or that's it. And it does depend on, like, it's over. Sometimes people say or do something that's unforgivable. It is forgivable, but it's in the lens of the relationship, it's done. So you might find a place in the future where you understand, you release, you forgive, but it can't continue because trust has been broken, right? This happens sometimes if you have a doctor experience and the trust is broken. So if you can't trust someone anymore, or if they said or did something that was so hurtful that you're like, I just don't want to put myself through that. Or if it's too much work. If you're walking on broken glass, like that Annie Lennox song, there just comes a point where it's like, I will not. And that's okay, folks. But if it's just a little tiny argument, you can get through it. A little bit of work, a little bit of love. I feel like it's manageable. But there is a second thread there for some of you that have been through it a few times. If this is cyclical, because the Ten of Swords can be persistent, it's time to let it go. It's just not worth the air that you're breathing to continue to have those conversations, right? Okay. But otherwise, I think that things are manageable here. And by the way, some good news. Let's say everything's good in a relationship. Some of you might have just had a painful pregnancy, but we have a baby here. Because we have Ten of Swords, Ten of Cups, we have something celebratory, we have a pregnancy card, and I have an upright world card, which is auspicious. So sorry you had to go through the labor. You were strong, you did it, and I see something good on the horizon. So just difficulty, and it could just even be the process of getting an adoption approved, or what is it called? The intravenous stuff. Like if you're trying to surrogacy, or I can't think of it right now. The other one, whatever you were going through to kind of make it happen, it's going to be okay, folks. Just take care of yourselves. That's what matters most. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. IVF, yes. Thank you. I recently had something done on my teeth that had 3 initials that I didn't like. It was called IPR, and I didn't enjoy that. IVF, thank you. So I knew it was 3 initials, but because I just recently did something else, I couldn't remember it. Anyway, just take care of yourself. I think personal health and personal care is going to be the most important. All right, focusing now on those that are looking for love. I don't know if it's time just yet. I mean, with the Ten of Swords here, this is really about, you need a moment, you need a day or two to kind of let the healing set in. This can also just be rebound energy. So if you're looking for love, the Ten of Swords shows that you can love again after a period of loss or something of that nature. So just take your time, take care of yourself. Make sure that you are not rushing into something. Looking for love, we also see the immediacy or the importance of starting a family for some, but not all of you. And I do think it's important to listen to that, but don't let that be the only reason that you're dating certain people. Like, you really need to make sure that the connection and the spark is there, kind of like we were seeing here. Not just for the sole purpose of the baby, because you have to think of what family unit the baby will be coming into. So I know that's not for everybody that's looking for love, but for those that have like a biological clock that's ticking, it's more important to find a partner that will be there as a partner and a parent and is providing a good environment. So don't rush it, for sure. In that situation. For the rest of you though, can you meet someone? Yes. 10 of Cups, 4 of Wands, they might be really serious. That's why I'm talking about things like this. It might not just be the baby. It may just be like they're ready for long-term commitment. And if you're just looking for, rebound energy, that's why you might want to just check intentions with someone before you go out on the first date to see if it's someone that just wants to date or someone that's looking to get serious quickly. Okay? All right. By the way, the person seems to come from a different background than you. It doesn't have to be a different country, but just a very different background. And they have a really a broad and expansive view of the world too, which I like. So smart energy. They've been through the school of hard knocks, and or you have as well. If you are single and happy, good for you. What I see again with the single and happy is the ability just to have a lot of fun networking and meeting new people. Maybe reconnecting with some people from the past that you haven't seen in a while. By the way, a little thread on those that are single and looking, definitely karmic energy. Actually, this hits all relationships. One of the reasons that they're so rich or so difficult is there's karma. One of the karmic threads here that's presenting itself is communication. Being heard, being seen, etc. So if you can really practice holding space for someone, it's not always easy, but that's important, and making sure that they do the same, that'll heal a lot of wounds. But again, for the single and happy, we get travel for sure with the World card. I see more than enough energy around people. You may want to hermit a bit, but I see a lot of people coming forth. And such creativity right now, because this is a card of creation and this is sensitivity and creative energy. I would say just let yourself be as free and expressive as you can this month, because that's going to open new doors of opportunity for you as well. Now let's move on to your destiny card. Interesting. Suffering in silence. I mean, it's an end to that, basically, because this card is in reverse. You're not alone, and it's not your fault. And you don't have to deal with this on your own. That's the card in 3 short sentences. I've gone in great depth in other ones, but Spirit was pretty clear on this. Talk to someone. Talk to someone and know it's okay, and stop beating yourself up. That's all I need to say. It's been said, it's being restated, and that is crystal clear. Sometimes I have to say a lot, sometimes I don't. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the big idea for today. I feel like it's going to be 2 parts, because when I look at what came after the title, it was release and create. So let's do one big idea on what it is that you can release. Okay, and so I see it's out of view. And one that you can focus on when it comes time to create. Okay. All right, so High Priestess. It's interesting because she's very creative, but some of you may be holding yourself back when it comes to receiving, because she's the ultimate receiver. She is the medium, right? And so This is a part of spiritual growth and development involves surrendering yourself to the higher calling, allowing the energy to kind of flow through you, creative ideas to come through you. So don't close off the channel, open it up, and let go of any preconceived ideas around what something should be. When I do write, because I like writing as well, a lot of times I just let it come out on paper. Like I have an idea for what I want to do and I put it down on paper and I'm like, oh, that took a slightly different shape or form. How do I feel about that? Maybe I like it more. Okay, let's explore this a little bit more. I try to release judgment until I've seen it, and I've seen it in the patchwork of everything else. I'm sure that many of you that are creative know what I'm talking about, especially musicians. You may compose one part of the song, a chorus, a bridge. You might be recording, a guitar piece or a piano piece, or the vocals come to you first. You patch it together. It's not always just sitting down and it's once and done. So however it comes through the creative process. She has a key and there's a door. We have the kind of keyhole is here as well on this one. So don't be afraid to open yourself up to something new. I think that's ultimately it. Releasing fear, anxiety, and preconceived ideas. In other words, what it has to show up as. And then creation is just about putting it onto paper and taking action. King of Swords is very communicative. Love that the sun is right behind his head, creating a natural corona or crown. And so basically this is your chance to also kind of like step up, because we see him on a podium here. So some of you may have a chance to do some public speaking, to publish something, because we have the World card, which is publication and distribution. It can be written, spoken, or illustrated. Doesn't matter. Just distribution. This can also be products and services. But it's about taking action and speaking up and speaking it into existence. So speak it, then do it. That's really what's going to bring it into fruition this week. And speak, like use your voice in all aspects of your life. This was a longer reading. Not that bad. We had a lot to talk about today. And whatever spirit wants to say, sometimes I just have to be the medium in the channel for that. Just like I was talking about with the High Priestess. We have a couple of additional parts. We're going to meditate quickly and focus on releasing people, places, and things that don't serve us, and then stepping into the light. Then we're going to do a final card, okay? I hope you stick around for both. So for the meditation, just close your eyes for a second. This is really important because when I was reading love today, it was heavy, or health rather. Health was heavy. So let's let go of some of the pain, folks. I want you to enter into the week ahead feeling a sense of lightness and brightness. How about that? That's a nice combination of things. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, roll your shoulders forward and back, and on the exhale, I want you to imagine that any of the stuff that you've been holding on to, fear, doubt, anxiety, cobwebs, they're just going to go out with a puff of smoke. You can see them rising up into the sun, and they are removed. They are cleansed. I'd like you to breathe in that energy. Imagine that there are rays of light from the sun wrapping around your body. You can see one of them coming right into the throat chakra as you inhale. Imagine that the oxygen is infused with the light and the healing energy from the sun. And as you breathe, you can feel it fill up your lungs. You can feel the lungs absorb it. And then that light works its way through each and every red blood cell, going into every small cell and molecule of the body until, if you were to take a step back, you would just be this luminous, resplendent being of light. See yourself bright and golden, and see that everything that you touch, this is the true Midas touch, it just is suffused with light, filled with light. I'd like you to focus on something that needs to be healed now that you are resonating with the sun. See a person or a place or an emotion or an experience or any combination thereof, and think about what it served, how you felt, and why it doesn't need to be a part of the next journey, the next step for that matter. Close your eyes, breathe in, and imagine now that you almost have the breath of a dragon, where because we've infused the energy of light in you, you can see light or fire exit as you're breathing. Whatever it is in front of you, you are going to clear it with the light. And if it is a shadowy figure, a deeper emotion, a cord that needs to be cut, the light or the fire is going to remove that obstacle from you and leave only space. It's not going to be there anymore. So with love and light and complete clarity, I want you to just let go of it. And if you can't do it with love, just with neutrality, I no longer need this. Please, archangels, please, higher self, please, energy of the light, create a path that is no longer one of resistance. Breathe. I'm going to play the singing bowl, and then we'll look at your final card. Take a couple of deep breaths, really just allowing yourself to feel the warmth and the light and all of the healing energy that we brought forth. And now, when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Turn your attention, if you will, to the final question and the final card. This is a chance for you to ask something that I haven't answered yet, something specific to you. We'll go from there. Okay, so we have the Five of Wands. This is about being a little bit more discerning and smart in the way that you're working. I like that we see partnership in this particular deck. Typically, we would not see that so much. I think I had it, well, I don't have it here right by me, but the traditional deck, you see 5 people pushing these 5 wands in a sort of stalemate, basically. So this is letting go of the need to compete, the need to just sort of like say something for the sake of saying something or do something for the sake of being seen. It's really just making sure that it's adding to the overarching, making something better. So if there's no cooperation or leadership, you could be the voice of reason. You could step into that leadership role, or you could decide to go on a different path. You may have better luck working in a pair this week if there's something that you need to do. As a yes or no, there's something better. It's basically saying you can do what you want to do, but there's something better. It's also a card of motivation. And for those of you that are trying to figure out a way to get something done, it may just be a call to sort of like figure out how you can get aligned to higher purpose and rise above any of that sort of feeling of, the lethargic energy, basically. Okay? All right. That, my friends, does bring this reading to a close. Just a couple quick things before we wrap up today. First and foremost, if you enjoyed this reading, like I said earlier, the easiest way to show support is by liking and subscribing. It helps me know that this made a difference, and it helps other people find the video. You can also join me on social media, where I will post reminders after I do a live stream or when I post a daily reading. And by the way, remember, I don't offer private readings, so if you ever see an imposter, please block and report. And if you ever need to know what the official handles are, they're all on my website. I mentioned earlier, or I popped it up by accident earlier, podcast was launched last month. I'm in the process now of looking for some new guests. The way that I'm going to do this is it'll be every few months I'll have a new one. It's not on a set schedule because I just want to make sure that I have the right people, and it's completely something that I'm just paying for and not making anything back on. It's just because I want to do it. So I have to save up. And by the way, to that end, everything that you guys are giving back on when it comes to super stickers, super chat, etc., it helps me fund the next one. So that's what I'm doing with those funds, and there'll be more to come. And hopefully once I pick up some momentum, I can do more of them. All right, so that being said, I'd like to take a couple moments to say thank you to everybody. Whether you just showed up and hung out here and blessed us with your presence. Or if you gave back a little bit, I just want to say I appreciate you. To those that did give back, I'm going to say thanks as well here. So I'm going to start off with the newest members and then those who gifted some of those memberships, etc. So newest members: Marilyn, Asterisk, Jennifer. Hold on a second. I think I just lost this. Christy, Enzo, and West. I know some of you are returning, so I'll just say welcome back to those that are returning. All right, give me a moment here too, and I'm going to say thanks to those that gave back in the form of fan funding. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, some membership anniversaries here. Ann Walk, thank you for 5 months. Marussia, thank you for 32 months. That's amazing. Deborah for 11 months. Karen, many tips on that crown there. Thank you for 38 months as well. Let's see. And then I gifted a few. Let's see who else did. Okay, I think that's it for the gifted ones. All right, now I want to say thanks to those that gave back with super stickers and super chat. And if I missed anyone, I'll see it on replay. And I know also that Dakota said thank you. All right, so Katya, thank you so much for your contribution. Allison, Gio, Amithaba, Jeannie, Lori, Sarah, Kathy, let's go a little bit further down here, Lucy, Raven, Marianne, Lydia. You guys rock. I think I just saw another one roll in here. Sathya, thank you very much as well. And I think that, and then let's see, Bert, it's your first super as well. Thank you. And by the way, Gio, that's your 20th super. Thank you. Always cool to see the milestones there. I think I got everybody. If I missed anyone, apologies. But again, I do all the time codes later and I will see it. All right, folks, that is everything for today. Thank you for your time and your energy and your patience. There was a lot to go through today, but we had big energy with the eclipse. So be kind to yourself. Focus on the healing. Set some intentions and remember to reach for the stars. All right, guys, I will see you soon. Thanks again. I saw we just got one last chat there by Ruby. But anyway, I will see you again this week for the next set of monthly readings. I'm starting all of the May ones as we're speaking. All the April ones are live on the channel. So check them out if you haven't already. All right, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.